Alex, we watched the Yoshida interview thing with Aspen Gold. So we're talking about the comparison between Final Fantasy and WoW. And we're all kind of slowly realizing we hate WoW. Or well, we have been for a while.
No, it's just like things that they do that are shit, I think. Like,
well, I don't play WoW, so I can't comment on that.
yeah, but from someone that doesn't play it, right? What made you never try it? Because you pay per month in this game, right?
Yeah, the thing is that I tried WoW. It just like I don't know. It didn't stick to me, or I just didn't feel like it was that fun, honestly.
Yeah, okay, I can definitely see that. It's
Well, how long did you play though? No, did you play to box level?
Yeah, I did. I never got to raid though. I just like mythic and raid and stuff. Like
you gave it a
so
chance. You
fucking
gave it a
lost it.
chance, though.
Fair enough.
But what expansion was this?
I tried to play multiple times, like Warlords, Legion, BFA. Like I think I tried quite a bit, but I never stuck to it. Thing is that the resources for the classes is kinda like, I don't know, it just kinda turns me off. Cause like
there is no resources.
No, but I play warrior, and then I'm not sure how, if I even played it like optimally, but was the resource, how to say, it's like it was quite a bit of resource starving.
Yeah, Rage is very resource. Warriors are very resource starved. They need to like it's. The thing is that nowadays a lot of the time in expansions, what is very funny is that warriors are picked for their buff. Since a couple expansions ago, instead of making all the classes useful, right? Like in Final Fantasy, you were telling us that all the classes are useful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And WoW, they didn't do that. What they did instead is that when a class was weak, instead of buffing the class, they gave the class a buff, like another kind of buff. So basically, if you have a warrior in your group, you get your entire group gets 5% more attack power. The warrior doesn't deal more damage; you're still shit. So you don't want more than one.
Raid buff.
Yeah, but so they just give a raid buff now. It's like
the fuck.
yeah, you need it, right? So take a warrior. Same with demon hunters. Why would you take a demon hunter? They're good cleave, but other classes are better. Oh yeah, they give 5% magic debuff. Guess we should take a demon hunter. Like it's such a dumb game design. It's like, let's not buff our classes. Let's just make them needed. It's very dumb. So the resource starving is a product of that.
When I play warrior, I found myself like pressing one button, and then when I have like enough resources to do one attack, I just do it, and then I go back to spamming one button.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't
know. It's not very dynamic.
Fun,
no, it's really not.
It doesn't exist in WoW. There's not. I think it's the Asian MMO thing, honestly.
We were talking about it earlier. Like, there's rotations in WoW, right? And there's like conditional abilities. For example, there is for a rogue in WoW. You also need to be stealth to do some spells, and you have another resource thing that's called Shadow Dance when you're a certain spec as rogue. And when you do Shadow Dance, you can do stealth abilities when you're not stealth, just like Tidal thing. Just like the what's it called?
Or a trick attack.
It was yeah, just like trick attack, but just like Suiton.
Okay.
When you do Suiton, it's like the Shadow Dance effect, but you get it for a couple seconds, like 8 seconds with Shadow Dance. So, but the entire thing with combos doesn't exist. It's not like it's not a thing. It's just you see ability, you press ability. Nothing else happens differently if you press this after this. It's just that you can min-max your damage by pressing this first, but nothing changes.
Yeah, it's more like proc based, I think, and then like get up resource, do something, and then like press anything that lights up, and then go back to spamming one button.
Yeah,
that's
that's how warriors are, at least for sure. Like other classes, certain classes just ignore their procs as well, and they have their set rotation. you can go into what's it called, Raidbots. There's a simulation website which people use like always religiously when raid tiers come out, and a bot there will calculate what the best rotation for most classes is, like without counting procs or anything. What the best rotation is, spell by spell, for an entire 10-minute encounter, for example. If you follow that, you will get the best DPS possible, right? It's like very... what's it called? Very choreographed. You don't have to... You don't kind of just play a game anymore. You follow choreography. You don't go in blind anything, because beta testing is an open thing. Like,
Okay.
Top-end raiders already know most of the raid fights before the raid releases, because they test it, they try it before. And
that's kind of weird though. Like, what's the fun in doing raid then?
All the
it's only
mechanics
the
are
last
out except
boss.
last boss. Yeah.
The last two bosses, last boss is usually what they withhold the information for, and then they do last-second changes and tuning on every boss as well. But it's basically the same boss, right? It's very, very silly, the entire thing. And this is probably the weirdest thing for someone like you that comes from Final Fantasy is that after the raid tier is done, you don't really play the raid anymore. You can't. I mean, why would you? Like the, for example, in Warlords of Draenor, there were some really fun raids, but you can't do them in a fair way anymore. You know, like there's no level like downgrading to do the raid, and yeah, like you can't enter old raids and be the level that they were. You just your main level. It's very different in that way, because when a raid tier is over, the raid is gone. Like it's like they remove the content from the game, because no one does it anymore. And it's the same thing in a lot of those instances. It's the same when you talk about the like, yeah, that even if you tried to make a character that was the right level for those raids, right? Let's say I make a new character and level it to the right level for Warlords of Draenor raids. It's still not gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be a lot easier, because they change scaling so many times every expansion. Like every expansion, scaling changes because they give us too high damage numbers, so they need to scale them down. But they can't scale them down too much, you know, and then they scale down level and everything. So even if you level 40 or you're like the old level 40 zones are very easy. And the zones where you go to the raids are also a lot easier. I don't know, it's just a very silly system. They just remove content from their own game every patch.
It is dope.
Well, since I started playing this now, I've seen you freaking play old raids over and over again, and this looks super fun.
Yeah, this like the content I did yesterday was like from last expansion.
Yeah, and it looks fun, and it seems like it still gives you a reward.
Yeah, it does.
Like, I don't know why a game would actively just remove their own content every patch. It's so weird.
That's the play, lol.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I've wanted WoW to be good for so many years, but I'm tired of it. I just hope it dies. I really just hope it dies. Give space for some other MMOs.
I understand.
The dynamics of the third hand sign are so cool though. But I'm still gonna get 2 more ninjutsus, right? The what's it called?
I think so.
Goka Mekiako and Hyosho Ran.
Oh, okay. So those are, I think they are upgraded version of 2 of your jutsus already. They can only be
Okay.
performed under the effect of your Kasatsu.
What's Kazatsu?
It's the purple one. No, not. It's the pink one. I'm not sure how it's explained, but it's like gives you a free cast of your jutsu.
Okay, there. Allows execution of a single ninjutsu with that
This is dead ass
Yes.
Naruto stuff.
Because it's, I don't know, it's confusing, right? But it seems so cool.
It looks overwhelming, but it's very easy, I'll tell you.
Oh, this is the first time. Sorry for just changing the subject quickly, but this is the first time a tank has let me open with trick attack on a boss, so I don't get out of stealth.
That's good. Sheesh, everyone is here cheering for me. Hey, thank you guys. I think they're here for me. I skipped the cutscene. Actually, they might not be. FF.
Oh wait, I was supposed to. I was supposed to do something here.
I don't remember this.
It's my daily roulette. Okay, now he's not invulnerable anymore. But yeah, like in general, I just like Yoshida seems to be super in touch with the game. Seems to be
I
really
like
cool.
that dude. I like him so much.
Yeah, I don't know. He seems like a very cool dude, and like he seems a lot younger than he looks. You know, it seems so rude to say, but you know, I mean it in the best way. It's
I
like,
don't know how old he is.
Yoshi PH.
But
He's
that's what I
48.
like with.
yeah, he seems like if I was just closing my not even closing my eyes. If you were just talking about how he dresses and how he speaks about the game and everything, he sounds like he's my age.
Yeah.
Like, he's super chill.
It's just I like it how he says like when he joins some random like party finder and he wants to learn their tactics, so he sits and learns their tactics. Then when he goes home to play more Final Fantasy.
Yeah, but like I think that helps so much for him to be in touch with the game. 'Cause I think the thing for a lot of developers, right, is that they don't play their own games, so they don't know how much time commitment everything is. While I think that he and most people in Final Fantasy probably are very aware of how much time commitment everything is. Because, like, I don't know, it seems like it's so nice that you don't need to do so much. Like, you play through the story, and then you can play a lot of other games.
Yeah.
For example, let's say I'm gonna ask you because you played all the expansions, right, Alex? So when an expansion releases, right, how much do you need to do the first week as a high-end raider, right? How much do you need to do the first couple weeks? Like, do you have time to play other games as someone that wants to be a high-end raider?
No, it doesn't take that long, honestly. You just have to finish the main story of the expansion, which shouldn't take that long. Depends on how much you skip the cutscenes. You know, if you rush through it, then you can easily do it in like a few days, 1 or 2 maybe even, or 3.
Okay, and afterwards, what do you need to do to? What more do you need to do to prepare? Like, how many hours per day do you think you need to play as like a, let's say, top 200 raider, top 100 raider?
Yeah.
So, how much per day do you think you need to spend to actually be relevant?
Relevant as being good and like.
But as being good enough to be taken into groups.
We're talking about gear now, or like, preparation, not about your own skill. Your own skill does not matter.
Yeah, new
like
gear.
Assuming everyone is top 100 caliber, you know. Like,
yeah, Just to get the gear.
preparation.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
say for you when you were top 100, you know, because you were top 100, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you were top 100, what did you do? You know, like what was your preparation? Not your skill, like what things did you have to do
I
in the
did
game?
shit, dude. I just let some friends craft some raid gear, and then I just went it.
Yeah,
Wait,
like
okay, so you only
it's-
have to get the gear. You don't have to like, you know.
you don't have to sit and farm dungeons for like 8 hours a day and.
No, what the fuck?
Okay,
That's
yeah,
the
no,
thing,
because like the first 3 weeks of WoW, like first 3 weeks of Shadowlands,
I don't know.
for example,
I'm
we
muted.
didn't do anything else than farm. Like you can't, you don't
Well,
have
this
the
was
time.
outside of regular raid times, you know. When-
Yeah, this is outside of raid times. If you don't do it, you don't have the gear. If you don't have the gear,
fuck?
you're not in the group.
I think the biggest hindrance to getting the gear for raid, if you like, raid gear isn't even, or crafted gear to like get to raiding isn't even like that mandatory. It alleviates the DPS check a bit, but like if you don't have it, it doesn't mean that like you're not gonna clear it. You maybe just have to push a little bit harder.
It'd be better.
Exactly. And the tries they release, you can farm them for weapons, and even then it doesn't take like, I don't know, 8 hours a day to get like a farm.
Yeah, but it's, like the thing is, it's done. First of all, first week, right? You need to do all the dungeons in normal.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in heroic.
I think just one quick thing before you continue, guys.
Yeah.
Is because I know where you're going with this, right? Because I know what you have to do in WoW. I think just to clarify for Alex, so like you can say whatever the fuck you want, because I know it's quicker in this game. Like I already believe it, but it's your own skill is like totally irrelevant, right? So it's just all about. Okay. I think you know the preparation in, or actually I'll take it after. You say yours.
Yeah, the preparation in WoW is very extensive. Like just as a quick example, right? The first 3 weeks in WoW, in Shadowlands, looked like this. First you get to max level. That takes 1 day, 2 days for most people that want to raid, right? And then when you're max level, you do all the dungeons in normal and heroic because that's the only thing that's out first. And you try to buy gear off the auction house and craft gear and whatever to do, not to do the raid, because the gear that you're buying and crafting and shit now is just so you do the mythics quicker, the normal dungeons, the mythic dungeons. So you 1 week after the mythic dungeons release, you have a set group with the armor types, the same kind of armor types, so that you can share gear in between each other, and you have a schedule to clear all the mythic dungeons. After that is done, you still need to do your weekly honor cap and do your arenas, because you still get gear from that for PvE as well in your PvP. So all the PvE players need to get their ass into PvP to have any fun at all, and vice versa, because you get some good PvP gear in PvE. So you need to do that, and after you're done with that, you still need to do your daily rep grind and your daily potion grind, and if you want to have any gold in the game, because it's illegal to buy gold from anything else, so you need to either buy WoW tokens for 200 crowns to get a bit of gold, or you need to go farm somewhere. I get so many things. This is like what 54. This is like 40%, and this already takes hours every day.
This is what he talked about in the interview. He said like it feels like a chore or a job, you know.
Yeah, and then all of that is just so you can be in raid for 3-4 hours, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, and but the thing is that even then you feel under-geared after a while. So when your guild has like these optional raids, normal raids, for example, that don't give the best gear, but they give better gear than you have. It's not mandatory, but you feel like it's mandatory because you're not gonna get picked for the group if you don't have the gear. It doesn't matter how much skill you have.
Item level is huge in WoW, like stats and shit. DPS increases a lot.
It's such a time sink, and everything is just time sink after time sink and rep grinds, and You need to do mission tables like fucking Farmville shit, and just sit and like check on your game every few hours. You can never log out, it feels like, because there's so many infinite grinds in the game that you need to, like, that you actually have to do. You can't take a week off the game. You have to log in every day.
Holy shit, dude.
Daily mitigated. You need to have rep every day because it will lock you out of dailies, and you need to do the dailies to get a certain.
That's why it's breath of fresh air. But that's also a big reason that when for example, you told us that Machinist, Machinist is good. Like, even though I know you wouldn't just lie about it, some part of me still thinks, no, Machinist is shit. Like, some part of me just thinks that. I'm probably never gonna touch Machinist just because of that. Just because of my experience with how classes are just frozen out of the game. Like, if Feral Druid and most expansions and PvE are just not invited. Like, if you queue up to a group and you're a Feral Druid, you just don't.
Bro, what the fuck? It's like, I don't know, that's kind of turn off for me as well, because like, it's just a game, right? Just let people do what they want, man.
Yeah, and it's just not the same thing, and wow, that's why it's so weird. But it's such a breath of fresh air, right?
Yeah, like I still don't understand that you can. Are you real with, like, when you get max level? You obviously main story makes sense, right? You just do that.
Yeah.
But is the main story locked out? Like, is it like a new chapter every week, or is everything out from on release?
Everything is out to release.
Okay, well, that's step one. Step two is, if now obviously everyone doesn't have connections like you, right, to get this crafted gear. But if per se, for example, if we make a static, you know, or you know, if everyone plays, we get 8 people of the boys, we're gonna play, and we're just playing with the thought here. You can fix crafted gear for everyone. Are we ready to raid then? We don't have to do anything else.
Yes.
Obviously the skill is not there, but if it was, you know, could we technically raid?
Yes, we can.
Viable, you know, we're not talking about like not being able to clear it, you know, like actually being able to clear the raid.
Let's say I take as Gunbreaker, we have a Paladin as secondary tank, and then we have 2 healers. There's 2 healers, right?
Yeah.
And then we have 4 random DPS, like whichever DPS. A Machinist, a Archer, a Samurai, and a fucking Black Mage. Like, is that viable? Is that doable?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Like, if you have a group, like, for example, I'm just gonna say a random group setup. You have a Sage, an Astrologian, a Gunbreaker, Paladin, Archer, Black Mage, Samurai, and Machinist. Can you viably do content with that?
Yes, can.
It's insane to me.
Yeah, that's like, I still feel like you're lying to me, but it's okay.
No,
like,
trust me, the comp doesn't matter.
That's
as
just
long
insane.
as you can do
itself.
your rotation correct, or not like 100%, but like
you can
as
play
long
your
as
class.
you can, yes, as long as you can play your class and you can drag your own weight, like you can do it easily. The raid
that's
gear,
super insane to me.
I just get it because I can, but the raid gear or crafting gear is mostly for people that want to go for like first kill, like world first, or you know, like want to kill it fast.
Yeah, they get like this DPS check.
Yes, like
easier.
they really want to use out every DPS they can. To not get fucked by DPS check, or like, you know, that you lose time if you wipe.
I think that's a thing because, you know, first, if that was a thing in WoW, because the world first race in WoW, they are really insane players, you know, in the top 2 guilds that always like compete in the race. Obviously, there are more people competing, but they will never win, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Against those 2
teams.
You
there's a battle for first and second.
Yeah. So, but they have to. What they do is, because there's like 40 people in the roster and they take help from communities, they have to split raid. It's called. So you go in with a stack of like leather or mail or plate, just to juice out the highest heroic gear you can, you know, like the next highest mythic or raiding shit, because obviously a lot of people can't clear mythic like that.
It's like we went into, it's like you made a group for us with, for me with 30 ninjas.
Yeah, exactly.
And took me into all the raids, all the bosses, etc. to be able to trade me as much gear as possible. To trade me, because I'm gonna be the main ninja in the stack, right? And then and then all of these other ninjas that are also in the guild just have to trade me the gear because I'm the main ninja. so they're all just gonna come with me and put their lockout, like, because they're still gonna get locked out because of this and not be able to do it anymore this week. So they're gonna put their lockout to give me gear.
Yeah, you use
Bro,
you use one player. Yeah.
Holy shit, dude.
Or well, it might be more than one.
Yeah, it's
It
more
might
than
be
one
five,
player. It's a
four
few. It's
people.
a few.
A few.
Like that's the concept of it, at least.
Thing is that you can't trade gear in this game, raid
Oh.
or dungeon.
Oh. Well, I mean, yeah, but still, that's the thing, because when I like to watch the World First race, it's fun, but they always like do splits for 8 hours because they have to, because they don't meet, like they actually can't meet the stat check with the gear they have, you know?
Yeah.
That's the thing, because even if they play perfect, they still can't hit the DPS check, and that's what's like, you know, annoying, because it's not fun to watch like re-clearing content over.
Okay.
For gear.
One of the
That's what I
last
mean
expansion.
with this crafted shit, you know? If you go full crafted, insta full sand, you play it perfectly, you can kill everything.
I'll say that crafted gear is most important on the last tier or the last fight of the tier.
Yeah, like for example, the biggest like fuck you that Blizzard has, like Blizzard did last expansion, for example, in the beginning of the expansion, at least the first tier, was in Uldir when you get to the Hydra, like a Hydra boss. I don't remember his name. It's Fatu Devourer, I think. Because Fatu Devourer was overtuned, but not just a little bit. People were doing the math on stacking the best class. Yeah, it was unkillable. Stacking the best class, the best simming, like not even just best DPS classes from the best players, but the best like simulated DPS that they could find, like that a robot did everything perfectly, with zero ping in it, all that, you know, just best DPS times all the DPS. Couldn't mathematically kill the boss because it's just a stat check. Like they released content that was not completable at the time.
Oh yeah. The boss was literally unkillable by a computer.
Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You couldn't kill the boss. Like it was impossible.
Actually.
So everyone just had to get better gear. Like whoa.
But
So
you had to wait a week for reset, so you can.
So you can't like get the world first in the first week, or
You can,
You
but
can if
sometimes they
it's not
just
fucked.
overtune things.
Yeah.
okay.
Like it's not like a lot of bosses in WoW are not skill based. Like they're not. A lot of bosses in WoW don't need you to actually be good at the game. A lot of bosses in WoW are just, do you have the gear to kill this boss? No? Okay, come back next week when you do have the gear.
It matters for the world first, though. To be fair, like then you actually have to be good, because you will die insta if you fail a mechanic with the gear you have. But or not die insta, but it's like more
Yeah, but
impactful.
even
I understand
then-
what you mean, though. But
Even then, like, I doubt that anyone would ever say, who can we take as an example? Which boss can I take as an example? Like Rathian is one example, but let's find a better one.
what's the like purpose of the boss?
Like it's just a tank aspect, like no skill. Like
That's Rathian.
DPS check, right? It's just like, do you have the DPS? Okay, you win. Do you don't? Okay, you don't. Like,
It's Rathian or a dog.
the dog is a healing check as well, though. That's
okay. No, but second boss.
Older
Mouth.
I mean, that was pretty fun in Mythic.
Yeah, but all you do is soak and kill. That's everything, you know.
Yeah.
But it was a
That's
heal check
true.
though, because you have to like
Yeah,
burst in
Shriekwing.
stone phase.
Shriekwing I was thinking about as well.
Shriekwing. Yeah, because you already move on Shriekwing, right?
Yeah, you don't do anything.
You
yeah.
move and go out.
Yeah,
with
but,
mechanic.
oh, you know what? A big fuck you is Sludgefest.
Oh, it's not-
The mechanics aren't hard in Sludgefest.
If you look at the at the results.
Yeah, no, but
of the
like
boss,
in general.
I guess.
Yeah, like, but in general, the mechanics, if you just, like, if you,
Nah, it's
If
just
you-
choreography.
yeah, like if you just take the mechanics of the boss, right? So this is a boss a lot of people got stuck on, Alex. This is a boss on last tier that a lot of people got stuck on. And the boss has a few abilities, not many. It has a charge that breaks pillars. This is the enrage mechanic. There's 4 pillars in the room. If you charge the boss into a pillar, he gets stunned for a few seconds and takes 200% damage. That's when all pillars are down. If he charges the wall, you wipe. Then he has one ability that chains 2 players together. If they move too far apart and break the chain, they die. If you stand on the ground where it's brown, you get stone falling on top of you and you get stunned. Like that's the basic mechanics. And a lot of people get stuck on that boss. It's not very hard mechanics, right? Like a lot of top end raiders got stuck on that boss for weeks.
Wait, what? For weeks?
Weeks, like not days, nothing like that. They got stuck on it for weeks because
they couldn't beat enrage timer.
they couldn't beat the enrage timer. It wasn't like they were fucking up the mechanics over and over again. They just couldn't actually kill the boss. Like the best guilds could, after like I think a week.
That was reset, I think. Reset day.
Yeah, on reset, I think they had enough gear to do it. But they also spend like the guilds that did it the second reset were also the guilds that spend. Like they get paid to do this, right? They spend 15 hours a day playing the game. Even more sometimes. And then they do split raids, like we said. Like this is the people that were... Yeah, this were the people that were able to actually kill the boss. Other people just didn't. Like, it's not a hard boss, it's just that... you can't do it if you don't have the right classes and the right specs of the classes and the right gear for the classes. Like, it's so dumb. It's so stupid.
That's the weird part, because you have to change comp after certain bosses. You can't play with the same comp through the whole raid. Usually you have to change to like more casters and more melee heavy comps on some bosses. That's why you have subs on the bench and shit that come in for certain bosses only.
There's some instances where top guilds have taken like 9 of the same class just because the class is very strong on a boss.
I mean, does people actually enjoy doing that? Because you don't get to experience the whole raids here, right?
Yeah, no. Like some people do. Like we said, warriors earlier, right? Because of their buff, one warrior will probably be in your raid the entire tier.
Yeah, one monk, one warrior, and one demon hunter.
Yeah. But the rest of the classes are very expendable. Like a demon hunter tank is better this fight. Yeah, the other tank that has been there. No, is not there anymore. Sorry, you need to sit on the bench for this fight. It's like very few of the raid groups, usually I would say, that stay through the entire tier and get the actual full clear when the world first is achieved. It's insane. Like it's so demotivating in a way.
I mean, yeah. If you feel like if you're viable enough to, you just have to have the knowledge that your character is strong enough. You're just not good enough, you know, to clear the raid. That is fine. But the feeling of that your character is too weak, that's just sad, you know. Like.
And it's not even just too weak. It's too weak because you don't want to grind bullshit for 12 hours a day, or because you weren't lucky enough.
I mean, it's luck as well, right? But,
yeah, it's like, and then the entire mentality about trading gear. By the way, for example, the first few weeks, because I was one of the, like I wasn't a weak class. I was just not in the. My class was just not in the top 10 for a lot of the bosses. Well, top. What would I say? Top 6, top 7 for a lot of the bosses. So what I had to do was trade my gear, like trade the gear to drop from me to everyone else. So I was still at the same gear almost as when the raid released, like weeks after. And then it's like, yeah, you don't do enough damage because I didn't get the gear because I had to trade it away. So now I'm benched instead because of this. Like it's so dumb. Because the people in that game expect you then to afterwards use your own time outside of the raid to still get gear. Because if you don't get gear, you'll get benched.
He says.
It's a very interesting
wrong steps in the game.
Interesting community, definitely.
But it's actually hype to hear the crafting shit. Like it's interesting how that works, you know.
Yeah,
for sure.
but the thing is that even then, this game's raid is more focused on the mechanics and not damage. It doesn't mean that DPS checks are gone, like it doesn't take a lot of efforts to meet them, but it's more like you have to see the mechanics and how, like, figure out how to resolve them. It's more like a puzzle, honestly.
It's pretty interesting because once again, it's only 8 people, right? So you
Yeah.
have room to discuss and like figure out positions for players, where to go and where to not to go, you know, and when to go and whatever the fuck. Because when there's 20 people, that shit is hard as fuck. I think that's also a major thing why it's hard, because there's so many fucking people, you know.
It's usually not even just 20
On the chain
people.
thing,
That's the worst thing.
as a range, I get chained between 8 different people, never the same people twice, you know. Usually.
The problem is it's not even 12 people usually. 20 people usually. Usually it's like usually 1 or 2 people from the bench or 3 people from the bench that are also sit in the VC because maybe I will get to play this week. Yay! So even the people that are not in are sitting there just waiting to maybe be able to play. It's such a toxic. I guess I don't know. It's very weird.
Yeah, that
And
is
the thing
weird.
is, a lot of people don't know there's an alternative. Like all of this that you're saying, right? Sounds so different. If that makes sense.
I don't know how people can accept this kind of treatment.
I mean, we quit.
Yeah, I mean, but still, you guys been raiding for how long?
Actually,
I've
we've been raided.
not been raiding.
This was my first year.
Oh, really?
I've been raiding lightly
was a
for a lot
PvP
of
player.
years. I played a lot of PvP before as well. Like that's also shit. Don't get us started on that. That's even
It's
worse.
dog shit, but we
That's
were
even worse.
PvP
Like
players.
as bad as this is, PvE is even worse.
Yeah, PvP is worse. You have to go up on the thing, bro.
Hmm?
Go up on the rock, the last one. I didn't find either. You go up on where you kinda took the last thing. There's a ramp up that's kinda hidden.
Oh, there, yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
But yeah, like, imagine all we said about PvP now, about PvE now, right? PvP, like, just in a couple of words, right? PvP is all the same things, except you can't decide what gear you get, and you need PvE gear to be relevant.
Fuck.
It's just bad. Let's just not.
It's just
Ah,
it's bad.
No, it's not haven't been good for like 4 expansions.
Yeah. I know, it's so weird. So this is just a breath of fresh air. Like, I've been mentioning that this since getting my 3rd hand sign, but it's so cool how dynamic spells can change between, like, depending on what hand signs I do. And if I fuck up, I get a rabbit on my head. And if I just fuck up and forget which hand sign combination, I do the wrong spell. It's like, it's actually the game reacts to how I play. It's not like this is always this way, you know. I don't know. I just like how one spell can do so many different things.
I like in Death Tech, I think. And as I said, I don't know about other classes, but with your hand sign shit and my form management type of thing into like playing around the Noken and shit is kind of interesting. Like how it's some in-depth flavor to all the classes, I would like to say, but at least our classes. I don't know about other. I've seen Alex play some Samurai, I guess it's some in-depth there combo and shit, I guess.
yeah, I have to manage the, like, I don't know, you see the triangle signs, or how do I say it? It's like the,
So the katana.
it's like if the Tekken, the Chinese thingies.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Jujutsu skill tells different depending on how many of those I have.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, you see like there's some flavor into it, I guess.
It's just cool. Now, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about raiding it, because I haven't tried, right? Who knows, I might hate it, but my experience so far is very fun. It's very different from my first experience with, not my first experience, but it's very different from the experience with leveling in WoW as well. leveling in WoW is basically like it's similar in level 1. Don't get me wrong, but it just feels so shit because you're the same class in level 25 as well. It's, yeah.
You're gonna see in when you get into the trials after 50 and shit. You're gonna see because it's kinda yeah. You will see one boss actually in 50 on the last thing that is the Nathris on crack that I told you about. It's fucking cracked out the wazoo, that boss.
Or you mean the singularity reactor?
I don't know, it's just laser everywhere, bro. It's a zoom, 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 like laser.
Is it the big knight?
I can't remember. Men det är typ du vet, alltså laser som bara flyger i strålar left, right and center. Alltså perma, jag kan inte få ut en enda cast typ.
Wait,
So
you mean level 50 boss?
Yeah, it's 50 some.
It's the ultimate one.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably. There was some trial or some raid or some shit I did, you know.
Now the question is that in 50, do I swap over to Samurai until 60, or do I keep being Ninja till 60?
I mean, you can if you want. The thing is that your progression saves anyway, so you can just go back whenever you feel like it.
Yeah.
On Ninja.
That's true. Because in 60, I want to try Gunbreaker, right? Like that's the goal right now. If I would be able to, I would probably transfer my XP from Ninja to Gladiator. Even though Ninja is really fun, I want to try tanking.
You can't transfer XP, you have to restart.
I know. That if I could, I said.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually you're gonna level all the classes anyway, because you have everything on your main character.
Yeah, do you get anything extra for leveling other classes?
No, just like you can just swap around in case you go into raid and use like join or do some raids with your friends and they're like, oh, okay, can someone switch to another role, or like, okay, sure, I can switch, and you just switch.
Yeah, but you don't get anything extra, like.
No.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Glad it's on one character at least, you know.
So
yeah,
now
you
we
just
get
have
to
log out and switch character, and like how does that work? Like if you're in a guild and you have like I don't know how many classes there are, and you have like one character for each class. Like, are you in the same guild for all of those characters?
You can't.
Also, the fun part is that you have the same class, but you have 3 of the same class in case you need different covenants.
Wait, what? No, you're not in the same guild on every character, right?
I am.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not automatically in the same guild.
Oh no, you don't have to be, but you know, usually you
like you can choose different guilds for every character if you want to.
Okay.
But here's a very funny thing about this, right? Now that you mentioned it, I don't want to beat a dead horse, right? But so if you want to be efficient about playing WoW, here, Nano, you watch Gingy a lot, right?
Yeah.
How many maxed level hunters did you have in this auto expansion?
3.
And all this we explained to you earlier was the time you need to spend on one character.
And like, the borrowed power, there was some borrowed power in this expansion that required you, in case, tuning and shit, or I guess what you call it, potency stats or potency scaling. Before that got released, they wouldn't know which one that actually, you know, make it to be big. So they just had three characters with the same class. So they had like, if it was me, I would have had Nano 1, 2, and 3, which were all 3 black mages, you know, but in different factions.
Okay.
Just because to wait and see which is strongest when the raid comes.
And you have to level all of them.
Yeah, you have to do everything on all 3 of them.
Wait, what the fuck?
Well, you don't have to, but if you want to be like top, you know, to be able to use whatever character, you know, everyone needs to be equally strong, you know.
So
I want to be the best, right? But it's like when you have to go through all of that, I feel like I don't know what's the point.
Yeah, but the thing is that you don't see people that play multiple classes at a high level anymore. Like
Stop.
a lot of people know multiple classes, right? It's like what's Fragrance? Yeah. He's good at Hunter, he's good at DK, he's good at Rogue. But when a new expansion comes out, he levels multiple of the same class because you never know what happens. The second character maybe gets a lot luckier with the gear drops as well. It's so many dumb things. You don't like it's.
Yeah, it's weird.
It seems like it's less and less about fun in that game.
Man, my black mage is actually fucking pumping in Fire 4.
You know what's really cool by the way, Nani? My south buff, I think it's called Huton or something. It's attack speed buff. Basically, slice and dice, right? They already made an intrinsic weak aura in the game that that shows up when I have it, and like the uptime of the buff and downtime.
What?
There's a bar in my screen, like a shuriken, that shows how much left I have left of that buff. Like because it's of it being an important buff to my DPS, I guess. They actually just put it on my screen already. I don't need to download any add-ons to show it.
Oh no, I have that too from my class.
That's super cool.
No, we're just kinda nuking this one, not giving a fuck. I like it. No, but yeah, I have the same. I also have like a class bar type of thing. No, but yeah, that's our TED Talk. That's what we've been talking about after we watched the interview, just comparing the games and chilling.
Yeah. You don't want to compare them too much, right? It's hard to. Like I've had a WoW account since like end of 2006. That's when I made my first WoW character. Right? So it's like it's very difficult not to compare it and not to hate on that game. Because I've wanted I wanted the game to be bad so long now. Like after Cataclysm, I've been wanting the game to be bad every single expansion all the time. I've been just trying to log in sometimes and be like, come on, be good, be good, be good, and it's not. It's never is.
Yep, cook.
I just want the game to die.
Their time will come.
Hopefully.
Some hopium. But just to clarify once more, Alex. Alex?
Yo, what's up? Sorry, I was muted.
Oh. No, man. Just to clarify once more, like I know you said it a lot of times, but when it hits, raid releases, you have full crafted gear, you are good to go.
You are good to go, yes.
Like average, you know, like it's fine.
Yeah. And then when they released the Trial, I think, I'm not sure, I don't remember if they released the extreme version early on already, or if it's like takes a while before they release it, but when they release it, we're gonna do that to get the weapon, just for like bump up the damage a little bit.
Yeah, but it's like, you know,
and it's not like super hard, just you can probably farm weapon for everyone in like one day.
What you're saying is that you can still have a full-time job while playing the game.
Yeah.
And while the high-end raiders that don't get paid enough for raiding, they have to take weeks off their job to be able to raid, like, because if they don't spend all that time, they're not up to par.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yo.
What's up?